Lillia is the first catastrophe we meet in the game and is their leader. As a former apprentice of Merlin's, she basically wants to stick it to her old master by destroying the world. That'll show her. For me, Lillia is actually one of the more complicated catastrophes to tackle in terms of character. She seems a bit all over the place, which isn't helped by her having the whole awaken Lillia thing where she looks almost completely different. I'd like to chalk it up to the writers veering off into another direction, since she has seemed more consistent in the last year or so. Maybe it's even the influence of the other catastrophes on her. It's worth mentioning either way. Lillia starts off as pretty cutthroat, to be honest. One of her trial stories is her basically running experiments on townsfolk. She's like Merlin without any restraint, which is a little scary since Merlin herself doesn't even have much restraint to begin with. She starts off as arrogant and prideful, your typical James Bond-esque villain in waifu form. But after her initial defeat, she sort of chills out a bit as she works on assembling the catastrophes. She's still driven and merciless, but now with a bit more chill. Case in point, her side story for unlocking her blue unit's unique basically has her using innocent villagers for her schemes. Girl means business. But by the time the catastrophes begin to assemble, she's dialed back some of her more cutthroat tendencies. Is this character growth? Or is it just her hiding things? Or could it be, inconsistent writing? Who knows? But that said, I do feel like Lillia as a character hit her stride once the catastrophe storyline came out in full force. She fits the world of the 7 deadly sins more now. Yes, she's badass and a threat, but she's also kind of endearing. A lot of other villains in the series proper have had those qualities. The Halloween storyline even hinted at more things to come with the catastrophes, particularly her, so I'm looking forward to seeing where they take it. Story-wise, I'd love to know more about her as a person. What drove her to become Merlin's apprentice? Have her views changed at all due to her time spent with the catastrophes? Did she know Vivian? And what exactly is going on with her whole awakened form? Was that something Merlin knew about? There's a lot more to explore with her as a character. Base Lillia received 2 units, a green unit and a blue one. The green one released first, and to be honest, I don't really think she's all that useful. I remember being excited to get her for free in a catastrophe event with Mono and Easton's release, only to realize that she had no real purpose beyond having cosmetics for the blue version. Her first card is one that attacks one enemy while also lowering their attack stats. Her second card is strictly a debuff, with no damage attached. It increases damage taken by all enemies. So kit-wise, she just exists? Again, being honest, she was before my time. I saw her in some PvP comps towards the end of 2020, but I haven't really seen her since. And she may have been part of the comps because of her passive. It decreases all enemies' attacks by 16% in PvP. So, when I said may, I meant definitely. This passive worked on the backline, so she could keep the team from taking too much damage. Unfortunately, she's one of those backline units that couldn't really do much once she drops down. Blue Lillia, on the other hand, is the one that everyone wanted back in 2020. I talked about her a bit in another video, but didn't really go in depth on her whole kit. She has an AoE card that can deplete ult gauge orbs at the silver or gold level, and her other card heals, removing debuffs as well at the silver or gold level. She was a great utility unit, which is good because her passive increases all allies' pierce rate by the value equal to 50% of the hero's pierce rate. So basically, Lillia would goose the pierce rates for heavy-hitting units like Blue Demon Meliodas and Omega Rugal, and help the team control the match. The icon for her passive is her as a conductor, and honestly, that's fitting. Lillia's ultimate was also pretty good for both units. It was an AoE ultimate that could decrease skill ranks and then deplete the ult gauge by the number of skill rank decreases. This only added to the amount of control she had. Unfortunately, her Holy Relic hasn't done too much to bring her back. It has her recover 15% of diminished HP when a debuff is removed from the hero. So if it's something that happens naturally, or something that she cleanses from herself, she gets more HP back. And that's nice and all, but with how her stats are compared to some of the other units these days, it's not really going to do much. These aren't the only Lillia units, of course, but we'll cover her awakened units later on. This Lillia also had some pretty fun cosmetics. I really like how they're all different. There's this elegant black dress that makes her look really classy, while the one on the left brings home the whole evil villain vibes. The middle one is pretty cool too. It's like a precursor to her awakened form. But what I really like is how creative they get with the weapons. This one right here has a little floating winged eyeball thing. It's reminiscent of Orlandi with Merlin. And this one is like, it's basically Baby Snakehead. Baby snake, baby snake, no. They're all very aesthetically pleasing, and they lend themselves well to mixing and matching. Good job, Netmarble. In general, Lillia fascinates me as a character. I rolled my eyes at her at first because she did seem like a generic villain with an admittedly cool design. But with the addition of the Catastrophes and Lillia's attachments to them, and vice versa, she's grown as a character. She's genuinely compelling. She's even fun in an intentional sort of way. I'm rooting for this weird evil chick, darn it. And that's it for our Lillia deep dive, for now. Next time, let's shake that earth. Or something. It's Valenti. We're going to talk about Valenti. See you next time. Valenti time.